What's going on, you guys? I hope everyone's having an awesome evening. I am back with another one. Sorry it took so long. It's been about 2 weeks since I uploaded my last video, and it's mostly because I went down the rabbit hole of this whole situation and I just started a new job. So I had to kind of, take a break. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for leaving comments at the bottom. I do read off my comments and I try to like or at least comment to you guys. So feel free to drop a comment. Feel free to share with someone who may be interested in this topic. And please come back and check out my videos. I'm going to get more organized. I'm still new to this YouTube thing and making videos. And I know I need to set a schedule as far as posting. I'm going to get better at it. But thank you for subscribing and sticking around and checking out my videos. Today we're going to be talking about lab-grown meat and cannibalism. And I've got all the receipts here for you. I'm actually going to take the time out to read some of the articles, probably most of them, which, I don't do because I like to encourage people to do their own research. But on this particular topic, and particularly why I chose this video to do it on, is because I also want to lay the foreground and help people who do subscribe to my channel understand that I do my research. I do go and read. I do put the pieces together. These are not just my opinions. I will say when it is my opinion and not a fact, but I just wanted to show you guys and also give those who aren't doing their research the opportunity to actually hear what's going on around them and hopefully plant a seed, and you can, again, do your own research and look into some other things that you've possibly thought about and never decided to actually go look at, right? So we all know about the lab-grown beef, right? And we know that they're pushing the narrative of this being the healthier option and it's environmentally friendly, reminding you, from me to you, that those are trigger words. Those are ways to make you feel like you're doing something great or you're helping the environment or helping your health, when in actuality they don't know what it's going to do to your body. They don't know the effects on the actual consumption of these lab grown meats, and they don't know how it's going to affect your body, right? So now skip the beef. We're going straight to eating human flesh. Give me some fava beans and let's go at it, a Hannibal Lecter style, okay? Let's just get busy with it, all right? So here we're going to read about this. A group of American scientists and designers have developed a concept for a grow your own steak kit using human cells and blood to question the ethics of the cultured meat industry. Ouroboros steak could be grown by the diner at home using their own cells, which are harvested from the inside of their cheeks and fed serum derived from expired donated blood. The resulting bite-sized pieces of meat currently on display as prototypes at the Beasley Designs of the Year exhibition are created entirely without causing harm to animals. The creators argue this cannot be said about the growing selection of cultured meat made from animal cells. Now, here's the thing that really freaked me out was the expired blood. That sounds weird, and we all know that blood is life force. So consuming that, it's just weird. It's weird, and it's somebody else's blood. It's not your blood, mind you. So that's already weird for me, okay, period. Despite the lab grown meat industry claiming to offer a more sustainable cruelty-free alternative to factory farming, the process still relies on fetal bovine serum as a protein-rich growth supplement for animal cell cultures. FBS, which costs around $300 to $700 per liter, I don't know what that symbol is derived from the blood of calf fetuses after their pregnant mothers are slaughtered by the meat and dairy industry. So lab-grown meat remains a byproduct of polluting agricultural practices, much like regular meat. Again, trigger words: agricultural, environmental. Remember, these are all trigger words. Read between the lines. They're just trying to make you feel good about this whole idea, which is insanity. Cannibalism. It is still cannibalism. Fetal bovine serum costs significant amounts of money and the lives of animals, as scientist Andrew Pelling, who developed the Boro steak with industrial designer Grace Knight and artist and researcher Orkin Tellen. Although some lab-grown meat companies are claiming to have solved this problem, to our knowledge, no independent, peer-reviewed scientific studies have validated these claims. Pelling continued, as the lab-grown meat industry is developing rapidly, it is important to develop designs that expose some of the underlying constraints in order to see beyond the hype. So already they're trying to go ahead and just skip over. They're trying to push the beef idea out of the way. Let's be real. That's what I heard in her statement or their statement. Like, forget it. It's still not environmentally friendly. Let's have you just eat your own meat combined with somebody else's blood. Doesn't sound tasty. It's better for the environment. Eat it. And it's just insane. It's insanity. So here we go. Ouroboros steak, named after the ancient symbol of the snake eating its own tail. Key that in, type that in, and look at the occult and esoteric meaning of the snake eating its own tail. And I'm talking about the darker side of it, and because everything is duality. There's a light and dark to every symbol that you see, right? It's your intention on how you use it. The version on display at London's Design Museum was made using human cells cultures, which can be purchased for research and development purposes from American Tissue Culture Collection. They were fed with human serum derived from expired blood donations that would otherwise have been discarded or incinerated. This absolutely sounds disgusting. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. It sounds absolutely disgusting. I couldn't imagine even partaking, right? The Grow It Yourself kit would include mycelium scaffolds and human serum. So gross. And let me know in the comments if you would be willing to buy one of these kits and eat human flesh or your own flesh with somebody else's blood. I don't know what that would make it, but would you be willing to do this? Is this something that you think is going to take off? Do you think this will replace the idea of lab-grown beef? I would like to know what you think about all of this down in the comment section. Please drop a comment. Let me know what you think about cannibalism, because that's what this is. It's cannibalism. And see, they try to fluff you with the environmental stuff and convincing you that this is all copacetic, and also with the fact that you can do it with your own cells. So what's going to happen is you're going to start eating your own tissues, and then what? You're going to start craving people like Hannibal Lecter or a serial killer or some kind of situation. It baffles me, but this is what it looks like and what's going on. Pouch-sized steaks are preserved in resin and laid out on a plate, complete with a placement and silverware as a tongue-in-cheek nod to American diner culture. As a part of the DIY kit, the team envisions users collecting cells from the inside of their own cheek using a cotton swab and depositing them onto pre-grown scaffolds made from mushroom mycelium. For around 3 months, these are stored in warm environments such as low temperature oven and fed with human serum until the steak is fully grown. So I mean, you're going to run up your own situation, your electric bill for 3 months trying to produce your own human flesh steak. Like, yeah, that sounds great. I just don't got no words because this is just crazy. This is crazy. It's insanity. Expired human blood is a waste material in the medical system and is cheaper and more sustainable than FBS, but culturally less accepted. People think that eating oneself is cannibalism, which technically this is not. Said night are designed in scientifically and economically feasible, but also ironic in many ways. Telhan added, we are not promoting eating ourselves as a realistic solution that will fix humans' protein needs. What? We rather ask a question, what would be the sacrifices we need to make to be able to keep consuming meat at the pace we are? In the future, who will be able to afford animal meat and who may have no other option than culturing meat from themselves? Okay, I don't know anyone who would just think of that. There are fruits and vegetables. If you can't get meat, there are food options that you can survive off of. It doesn't have to always be meat all the time. Oberose steak was previously exhibited at the Designs for Different Futures exhibition in the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Although no lab-grown meat has so far approved for sale in any part of the world, the market is estimated to be worth $260 million and expected to grow to $257 million by 2025, largely due to the increasing environmental and ethical concerns about the mass rearing of livestock for human consumption. Among the companies hoping to bring cultured meat to the market are Elif Farms, which claims to have been the first company to make a lab-grown steak. Others have focused on substituting meat entirely with Nava Meat, creating a 3D printed steak from vegetable protein. I'd rather have a 3D printed vegetable protein steak. Okay, considering what you're giving me as an option here in this article, let me get that 3D printed steak, please. Okay, if I'm gonna choose how I would prefer to eat my steaks. I'm not interested in human meat. Steak grown from human cells spark interest and outrage. An artist project offering an absurdist take on the lab-grown meat industry triggers a debate and backlash in London. So, here we are. They're making it sound as if it was satire, and it was not. These people were very serious about being able to grow human flesh and consuming it. This was not satire, and they try to make it seem like it was because it was pointing at lab-grown meat industry. But here we are, where you have kits available to be purchased by people. So is it satire, or are you really trying to program people into consuming human flesh? And again, programming, this is a reset on programming. This is going to be a thing. Like, you're going to hear people talk about this being an option for protein and meat. And as you see here, like, oh yeah, haha, he diner. It's funny, but it's not funny. They're being serious. And the sooner that you open your eyes and read in between the lines and look at the articles, titles, and how they use their wording to make you feel like, oh, nobody's going to do that. That's not true. That is not true at all. And back to lab-grown beef. Why do you think they do everything on animals first, right? So they can feel like they've perfected it enough to be able to do it with human tissue. If they can do it with cow tissue, they can do it with human tissue. And next thing you know, we're going to be eating human flesh, the other white meat. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's how they market it. Why eat pork when you can have, Phil down the street, like, type situation. Like, It's weird. It's weird, and it's very possible. The installation of steak grown from human cells at the Design Museum, and mind you, you have to keep in mind that where they display this also gives it its satire or the credibility they need to say that it's satire, right? Because it's at a design museum. So you're not going to take it seriously. But again, it's programming, right? It's all programming. It ended up triggering a rolling debate about bioethics and pitfalls of artistic critique. And artists, and see now they've only dubbed it down to just the artists. They've taken a back seat with the scientists here. It's not like, because in the last article, the scientist and the designer was at the forefront of the article. They both were being talked about. You can read the rest of this. I really have something to say here because I just find it funny how they are portraying this as satire right now. They're portraying this as an expression of the absurdity of lab-grown beef. But at the same time, you are able to actually do this, right? At the same time, they're showing you and telling you how you can produce your own human flesh steak, right? It's just, it's not, anyway, they're making it seem like it's not promoting cannibalism. As you can see here, they're going to talk on that, touch on that, but it is. If you call yourself being an artist and this is satire and you don't have an agenda, that's BS. That's BS. That's BS, and you know it. And particularly that you actually sat around and did it. You've talked about it as an environmental option, and you talked about it like it was something that you were seriously considering. And here's the thing. They're going to present it to you in a way that makes you feel like it's not real, like with the artist, with the satire, because it's a test. They want to see how the public would respond to the notion that you can have human flesh or that you can eat human flesh. They want to see how people still feel about cannibalism. It's not necessarily to say, hey, we can grow human flesh. We already know they can. They've been growing skin and organs for a long time. But on this part, this was saying, oh, you can consume your own cells, your own DNA, combined with somebody else's DNA, of course. But remember, blood is a life force. So if you're mixing your DNA with somebody else's life force and you consume that, then you're consuming their dead life force or their dead energy or their dead DNA, which is so weird and freaky, okay? Or expired, or however they want to say that blood was made. But as you can see, this was not satire. This was not a joke. This was not just, oh, hee, ha, ha, let's do this art exhibit. No, it wasn't. It was a test. And the sooner, again, you see between the lines, because again, what did I say? Programming is done through forms of entertainment, the media, music, anything that people consume as either artistry, entertainment, or news outlets has an agenda. They're programming you. They're brainwashing you. They're subconsciously convincing you of things that you probably, without their sway, wouldn't accept. Right? And cannibalism, we all know, on a global scale is taboo. Not saying there aren't tribes or people in the world that don't eat other people, because there are. And how do we view that? Because we all know that the body is sacred. We all know that our life force and our soul and our DNA is something sacred, right? It's passed down. We even know about epigenetics, where it is passed down from your ancestors, what they've gone through, the trauma, the experiences. This can be passed down generation after generation after generation through your DNA, So if you come from a family that had a lot of hard times and struggles and traumas and different things like that, you're carrying your great 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 grandparents' trauma that they experienced because it's embedded in your DNA. So, we know this, and then you're going to combine my DNA with somebody else's DNA. We don't know spiritually what that means. Okay. And I look at things like that because this world isn't just flesh and bone. And the sooner that we remind ourselves of that when we are consuming or when we're being introduced or i.e. programmed into new ideas and thought patterns, consider what that means. Okay. See, I failed. I was supposed to read all the rest of these articles for you guys. I did half of the job, so forgive me. I think you guys are educated, bright individuals. I know you all can go ahead and read the material. But the fact of the matter is they're pushing this, doing this kills less animals, it's less slaughter, it's more eco-friendly, it can help with the greenhouse gases and global warming. And those are triggers. Those are programmed ideas. They don't even know if it would be a better option because they don't even know what the health concerns would be behind this idea. And mind you, pushing the narrative that this is an art exhibit. It was shown at this museum. It's satire. That's all of that combined with the notion of the environmental aspects and how they're trying to badmouth lab grown beef considering how it's produced. To me, before it even really gets started, is again programming, right? They're like, oh, let's test the waters with our phase after the lab grown. If we can get them to eat lab grown beef, we can get them to eat themselves. See what I'm saying? And then their symbol, again, is the snake eating itself. So you need to put those pieces together. They're telling you what the symbolism is behind this option. They're telling you what they are really trying to do. Eat yourself. Eat yourself. You don't care about yourself anyway. I don't care about you. You know what I'm saying? So do what you're going to do. It's disgusting, honestly. I'm going to be honest. It's disgusting, but I do want to know what you think about this. Do you think it's just satire? Do you think it's just an artist piece because of what was put into these articles? Or do you think that it's something real that we need to keep our eye on and look out for and be aware of when we're voting and when we're looking into politics and they're passing different laws and things like that? Because mind you, they're trying to say it's not cannibalism because cannibalism is illegal. Okay, you go to jail, you go out there and eat somebody. Even if they ask you to, you can go to jail. And this is a very real thing. There are people out there who eat people and people offer themselves to them. Okay, go look into some documentaries. I know a couple of them that I've watched and I was stunned. My face was like, what? These people were really offering themselves to certain people. Again, you know what I always say, go do your own research. Okay, let me know. Let's talk about it in the comments. How do you feel about this topic? Do you think it's going to be something that we see in the future as something normal? Like, share, subscribe. Love you guys. And I'll be back with another one. Have a good night.